restart the stream. Airs upside down. Other destinations are all set now. We should be good to go.
All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the most electrifying and enlightening podcast in the universe, the House of Cards with Chris James and Jesse Stanton. Thank you guys for being here. Now, today we have a gathered group of guests who possess not only the wit, charm, and an abundance of laughter, but also an extraordinary wealth of knowledge in the realm of creative real estate investing. Now, prepare yourselves because we're about to embark on an exhilarating journey where hilarity and valuable insights collide. Now, I'm your host, Jesse Stanton. I'm here with my beautiful co-host, Chris James, bitch. Now, to introduce you to this extraordinary gathering of real estate aficionados, let's say, who will make your eardrums tingle with laughter while empowering you with priceless wisdom. Now, guys, imagine this. Imagine a lineup of brilliant minds, carefully handpicked from the cosmos of real estate. Now, first we have the pun master, and I'm going to leave you guys to guess who all these people are. But we got the pun master, whose linguistic wizardry will have you laughing while secretly learning about the art of negotiation. Then we have the laughter guru, whose infectious joy will lift your spirits as they divulge the secrets of identifying lucrative investment opportunities. But that's not all, ladies and gentlemen. We've also invited the mirthful storyteller who will whisk you away on a journey through the highs and lows of the real estate market while imparting invaluable lessons along the way. And now let's not forget, though, about the whimsical thinker whose innovative strategies and out-of-the-box ideas will challenge your perspective on property valuation, investment analysis, underwriting, comping. Now, of course, we couldn't leave out the jester of jesters, whose hilarious anecdotes about landlord-tenant relationships will simultaneously entertain you and offer sage advice on property management. So fasten your seatbelts, my friends, because we're about to embark on a roller coaster of wit, wisdom, practical tips that will revolutionize even the way that you approach the real estate market. Now, get ready to have your funny bone tickled, your hearts filled with inspiration, and your financial future secured by this group of amazing individuals. Sit back, relax, and be prepared to be entertained, educated, and enlightened. Friends, welcome to the show where laughter meets real estate brilliance.
Get ready to stack the deck with the House of Cards podcast. The show where we break down the art of creative real estate investing. Join us as we dive into the world of real estate with insider tips and tricks for making your investments go further. From buying with no money down to flipping properties for profit, we've got you covered. Plus, stay tuned for expert guest speakers who will share their knowledge and experience in this ever-changing market. So grab a seat and get ready to learn the secrets to success in real estate investing. And now, from Alaska to New York, your hosts, Chris James and Jesse Stanton.
Good morning, Chris. What's going on, baby? How are you, man? It's good to see you. Oh, you're muted again. Technical difficulties. Chris was so excited to get into his new place, and he's like, man, this is going to be so awesome. Now? My internet's working. My computer's working. Is your mic working? We can hear you now, brother.
Phenomenal. Yes, I was super excited about this new office and to the internet. I was literally troubleshooting all weekend, and literally that's what it comes to.
Dude,
But yeah,
you
the
were
days
showing
go.
me, we FaceTimed a little bit yesterday, and you're showing me around that office. I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, you got an entire area designated to just think. Then you got an espresso machine. You've got a soda machine. I mean, you've got your own butler, I think. I think I saw valet parking out in the front. Dude, that's insane.
It is. It is actually insane. I'm very stoked. Actually, it's right downtown, so it's definitely getting used to it more so. All the different elevators being on it's not like on the first floor, right? You gotta jump to a couple hoops.
Right.
But it's pretty interesting overall, and just more so. I just want to touch on something, right? Because I know the topic of today, and kind of geared towards mindset a little bit, and this just happened last night to me, right? I never been skip traced in my life, me personally, unless if I was skip traced, I wasn't told about it. So more so, I received a call yesterday. Say, hey, is this Chris James? And I said, yes, Max was calling. And then I'm not going to mention an individual's name. He's not in the community, subto community, but he is in another community.
Was it Grant Cardone?
Was not Grant Cardone.
You took his call even though you were eating dinner. Good for you.
So I'm just going to say John. I'm not going to say his real name. I'm going to say, hi, John, can I help you? He said, yes. Are you and Jesse still moving forward on buying the property over in Florida? And I said, I'm sorry, I had to make sure I was talking to the right person, because the individual we were speaking to about this property is a wholesaler. Yes, we know the property was daisy chain. Yes, Jesse and I are going to buy the property. However, this initial wholesaler who gave me a call, John, wanted to go around the original wholesaler who found the buyer to cut him out of the deal. This literally happened last night.
You've got to be kidding me.
And I don't want to say his name because I'm not the type of individual to call, just throw people under the bus like that. I think it's more so he's greener to the industry. I think it's a mindset issue that he's having, and it's more so greed. So I had a conversation, about 15-minute conversation, just understanding, what he was really trying to look for. And he, in my back of my mind, you can't close a closer. So we was going back and forth, and he's trying to put the ball back in my court. And to move forward to the end of the conversation, I pretend that everything was okay, right? And reached out to the initial wholesaler who reached out to me, say, hey, who actually brought the deal to me, who brought several deals to me first to buy. And I did tell him the communication that I had with John, and he went back and had that conversation. I did tell the wholesaler, I said, Jesse and I will not proceed to close on this property unless you're getting paid. No offense or buts about it. So I thought that was kind of interesting that someone skip traced me to try to cut the individual who actually found the buyer and didn't want to cut him in. That kind of bothered me a little bit. And those are individuals I don't want to work with. Although the property cash flow extremely well, Jesse and I, we're probably going to be cash flowing about $900 on that one minimum. So that's, I think, the more of the story is, just the individuals you come across, you really got to be careful what their intentions are. And I know I kind of deviated just a little bit, but I kind of wanted to let you know that these people are all around you, especially if you don't got the right mindset and the greed. They don't care how they get the deal done. They're going to go around you and be unethical and try to say what they need to say just to close the deal.
Jeez, man. Oh my gosh. It's also a silver lining too, right? Because from a mindset perspective, like you were talking about, we have an idea on where we want to be, the types of people we want to be surrounded by. Right. And we acknowledge that, dude, the more people that you work with, the more relationships that you build, chase the relationship, not the deal. And if you can understand that, it is way better to share a watermelon than to have your own grape. And this guy 100%. Sounds like he's just burning. He just burned a bridge with not only you, but I mean, real estate's a pretty small community in the grand scheme of things.
Tell me about it. So I just wanted to talk, mention that today because I thought it's on topic a little bit in regards to mindset, and also just more so, this is going to be a great show. I'm pretty excited about it. I'm actually super, super excited to just introduce everyone that's going to be on the panel. And two, guys, if you guys haven't subscribed yet, we're on Spotify, House of Cards with Chris James and Jesse Stanton, Spotify, Apple Music, iHeartRadio. For Android users, whatever you guys utilize, I think it's Google something, but subscribe to that one as well.
Well, Stuart has the Google. He'll be able to tell us.
Okay. that is very true. Very true. So, and last thing before we bring everyone on board, guys, we're streaming live from about several destinations. If you're not in StreamYard Air, please get there. That's where majority of people are watching from. I know we're streaming from YouTube and also Facebook as well, and some of our private Facebook groups. But if you really want to squad up with everyone and work and see how you guys can do deals together, make money, and be a resource to each and every, we could be a resource to you. And just the side chat that's going off right now. There's some phenomenal names like Angel Miller. She's amazing. I know Agent Bolden. He's doing deals nationwide, although North Carolina. There's a lot of amazing individuals in here. And yes, I think Chat GPT, that's going to change the world. I just everything from painting, all these different ads I'm seeing about how it could just do all these different things. I think it's freaking phenomenal.
Angel, we got people from all over the place. Well, guys, get in here and subscribe. If you guys are watching this from StreamYard from StreamYard, like Chris said, make sure you guys are squatting up, get in the comments. Let us know, what you guys need. Let us leverage this group for you guys. And if you guys need lending, if you guys have deals that you need help with, throw it in the comments. Let us know where we can help you guys out at. That's the after all, that's the heart of the show. That's the entire theme of the show. That's the entire purpose of the show, is to get in here and do things together. So speaking of doing things together, let's bring everybody up. I'm super excited. And again, thank you guys very much for being here. I know you guys could be doing other things today, and we've got a lot of people here spending their Saturday afternoon with us. So thank you. So without further ado, let's bring everybody up. What's going on, guys? Good morning. Or I guess afternoon. I guess I'm probably one of the only people in the morning still, huh?
That is true.
Yes, you are.
That is true.
I didn't think I could be more excited, but Jesse, what a hype, man. My God.
Yeah, no kidding.
I love you guys.
Agreed.
I told Chris, I was like, man, maybe we ought to do that more often, man. That'd be kind of neat. That was fun. I appreciate you guys being here. Let's kind of kick this off. Why don't we do kind of an introduction? I don't know how everybody laid out the same, like I guess, is everybody laid out the same? Am I in everybody's top left?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Jacqueline's in everybody's bottom right.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Well, let's just go across the top then. Daniela, do you want to kind of introduce yourself?
Hello. First of all, Jesse, that was an amazing. Jesse and Chris, thank you for the amazing introduction. I mean, complete entertainment. I'm enthralled. So thank you so much. I'm Daniela Muhammad, and I actually I have several businesses. My main business is an acquisition and dispo wholesale company here locally in Arizona. We do about anywhere from 3 to 8 deals a month, wholesale deals, commercial, residential. I'm also a managing partner of a construction company. So we do luxury to mid-size, multifamily. I think the biggest property we've renovated was 21 units, I want to say. And right now what we're trying to do is take the renovations that we've renovated and turn them into sober living. So this is kind of a new business model. Super excited about that. And then we also do Gator lending on the side as well. So,
wow, you're involved with a lot.
we're busy. Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you. Jake, what's going on, man? Good morning. How are you?
How's it going, Jesse? I'm excited.
Good, baby. Good, man. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, absolutely. What is this? 6 weeks in the works now, so I'm happy it's finally here. I've been looking forward to it.
Likewise, brother. Now you've got some big news, man. I'm really excited. When we first connected, and you were kind of telling me a little bit about what you guys have going on and what you're doing and what you're wanting to do, and just kind of seeing all of this come to fruition and manifest just within our conversations in our group, man. It's been awesome, man. But for everybody else who doesn't know, kind of want to introduce yourself a little bit and share with the rest of the world what do you have going on and what's exciting?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Jake Villaret. I'm part of the subto community and the Gator community. And so I guess the big news, so to speak, is it's something I was planning for a while, but after my team and I spoke to you guys for the first time, I think that's when I had that aha moment. And so although I was going to hold off for a little bit, a couple weeks ago, I finally went ahead and quit that W-2. So this is now my full-time
Wow.
job.
Woo,
So
congratulations.
thank you.
Yes.
That's a big step, man. That is phenomenal.
It's been amazing. So far, the best decision I've ever made, I feel like. I say that this is my full-time job, but, and you know, as you guys know, it doesn't really feel like a job. I absolutely love what I'm doing. I love the people that I work with. My team is growing every day with, you know, both the size of the projects we're working on and the volume. So super excited about that. I just started hosting Zooms in the Gator Tribe, you know, Paces community. That's been really awesome, making a lot of great connections. And I feel like, you know, making a difference for the newer people in that community. So it's been really awesome. And then I have some of my team members here. We have a business called the Creative Credit Partners, and we focus mainly on loan sponsorship. And so we have a whole bunch of projects going on right now. I would say the biggest one, I posted about this yesterday on Instagram. We're sponsoring a 60-unit hotel to residential conversion. And the appraisal came back yesterday, like over $1 million higher than we were even expecting. So we're excited for that project to get off the ground here soon.
Well, you can't be mad about that, dude. Good night. Good for you. What a great way to kick off, you know, jumping into real estate investing full time, man.
Oh yeah, I couldn't ask for it. You know, it's been a smooth transition so far. So, you know, knock on wood, I hope it stays that way.
Oh, I'm sure it will. I mean, with real estate, you know, you always kind of want to stack the cards, so to speak, in your favor, but you never know what hand you're going to get dealt.
Right.
Yeah, I love it, brother. Well, awesome. Well, thank you, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stuart, what's up, dude? What happened to your hat, man? Did my introduction like just blow it off, or what happened?
Listen, Jesse, that intro was great. I want to know who's actually coming on the show after us, because I want to find out who these people are, man. That's awesome. Yeah, you know what? I'm the only bald guy here, really. I mean, Chris and I got some nice heads. You know what I mean? We don't have the hair. We got a nice shaped head though, so we're good to go.
Cole, Chris puts his in a bowling ball buffer every morning.
He does a little this guy.
Yeah.
Work on that.
Put bowling ball wax on there, man.
I love it. Hey, Jesse, Chris, thank you so much for having us. Yeah, my name is Stuart Orr. I do have a W-2. I'm in healthcare full time. I've been in real estate for about 12 or 13 years now. I have single family homes. I've done fix and flips, wholesaling as well. I am in the subto as well as the Gator Tribe. I teamed up with Daniela and Helaman about 9 months ago, give or take. And I work with them in a couple of the areas that Daniela has been talking about. So we are partners in that midterm kind of, supportive living space that we're doing as well. We've partnered on some Gator deals in the past, and I am very grateful to be here with this wonderful group of people.
Awesome, man. Well, we're thankful to have you, brother. Thank you guys very much for being here. I'm really excited because just everybody in here, this is so unique, especially for Chris and I, to have everybody of this caliber in here doing stuff in this sort of a collaboration. So it's really neat, and it's something we're super excited about to learn from and with everybody and doing this challenge. So thank you guys for bringing the heat. Candace, how are you today?
I am doing well. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you.
You are the king of overselling. I'm waiting to find out who's going to be that funny.
That's about the only thing I got going for me, though.
It was impressive. I'm going, who's next? Yeah. So I'm one of Jake's partners. There are a few of us on this call today. I'm thrilled to be here. I am new to real estate investing compared to all y'all. You can tell I'm in North Carolina, all y'all. Anyway, it's brilliant. Back in March, met Jake and Angela at an event where I was there with my daughter, who is on the wholesale side. And it was just magical, where we all came together and we said, this is something that's going to be huge. This is going to be something I want to be a part of. So I have a W-2. I'm in B2B software, marketing, etc. And I'm a Gator as well. But like I said, I'm new. But the piece that has worked out really well for our team, it seems, is that I have what the skills to be what Pace apparently calls an integrator. So I'm the techie person. I'm the no, we'll use Slack and we'll use this, and then hooking it all together and sort of process minded. And so that's been sort of my contribution to getting this off the ground. So it's been so much fun. It's been every call I learned something, and just so good to be part of this team and this community. I'm just thrilled.
For sure. Well, thank you for being here. I mean, being an integrator, man, you guys are like a diamond in the rough, dude. Everybody wants to be, the closer, and it's like, dude, like closers are a dime a dozen, man. Everybody who wants to, be a closer as their avatar. You guys are the people that are the real mavericks, though.
Yeah, Candace is being super modest, and I'm sure Angela and Jacqueline help. They help this whole thing run smoothly. Like, she's being very modest. None of this happens without her. So,
I love it. Awesome. Well, thank you, for being here, Candace. Appreciate you. Thank you again.
It's a pleasure.
Eelman, what's going on, buddy? How are you, man?
Good. Thank you guys for having me on, Chris and Jesse. There's not much stuff that I envy, but Jesse, once I heard your voice, I was like, man, he's got to be on a podcast. So
he got a radio voice. He like a midnight radio voice or something like that.
Yeah, no.
I'll start reading children's books or something.
There you go. It was the night before Christmas, right? So, but no, thank you guys again for having me on here. I think we all need to be thankful for Pace, I guess. Without him, none of us would have met, really, right? So one way or another, what happened? Shoot.
Oh, we can still hear you, bro. We can see you.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
So but yeah, so I'm, I've been doing real estate for the last 4 years. And then, Danielle and Stuart been together for about 4 years, or 9 months, is what we've been doing. Pretty much Gator funding together. But now we've, like Danielle was saying, we've kind of embarked in that, the new MTR for sober living. So we're excited for that. And, we're here to help out and give as much support as we can with the Gator funds and the lending part. So thank you for having us on.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Thank you for being here. And I love what you said. It's interesting because there's this huge domino effect that happens from a group of people coming together, or, like you said, look what Pace did. And it's crazy because we're at a time right now in this world, just with technology and everything, where people who are wanting to build businesses and make millions and millions and even billions of dollars, there's never been a time in the whole history of this freaking earth that has been an easier time to manifest that and make that stuff happen. I mean, it's neat to see what technology, can do. And, social media is free. It's free to get on there and to connect with somebody. And we've got Zoom and so many different ways that we can, be JVing and making money together and serving each other and leading and bringing value to the team. And it's, look at what's manifested here. It's super cool, man. So I love what you said, and it's neat to think about what that domino effect is. And if we have the ability, I think we have the responsibility to be able to come in here and share those gifts with everybody else who are, wanting to receive them. So I love what you said there.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Angela, how are you this morning or afternoon? Where are you?
I'm in the great state of North Carolina, along with Candace and Jake. So it is
afternoon for you.
That's right. It's almost 2:00. Hi, everybody. I am Angela Chamberlain, and Jesse and Chris were having a really good full circle moment here, because back in January, you guys got on a Zoom call with me, and I was not a sub-2 student, and I had just heard about Pace Morby about 3 weeks before I got on a call with you. And you guys were so generous to give me 45 minutes of your time to just talk to me about what you knew and what you would have done differently if you came in, knowing what you know now into the real estate journey. Because I'm super new in my real estate journey. So I appreciate that talk so much. And I was just blessed by coincidence to get to know a guy named Jake Villaret, who happened to be in my backyard. I became good friends with him, just kind of DMing and saying, hey, man, just stumbled upon this community and you're my neighbor. How's it going? What's going on? And we just kind of kept touch. And then one evening, I reached out to him about learning more about the Gator program. And we talked on the phone, I think, for about an hour. His kids were asleep, and his wife and his kids were asleep. My kids and my husband were asleep, and blew me away with what he was thinking about starting. And I said, listen, what can I do to help you? Let me know. I'm in, and I want to help in some way. I want to be a part of this in some way. And then we'll just fast forward to about 3 weeks after that. And me, Jake, and Candace were at a subto event in Raleigh. And like Candace said, it was just like, fireworks and magic. And we needed more. And a week later, the business started. So Creative Credit Partners was started. So I am a proud member of that team. And I am now a subto member. So officially part of the team, became subto on May 3rd.
Welcome to
amazing.
the family.
Yeah, that's exactly how it feels. It feels like I've got like a bunch of new cousins and stuff. I'm like, yeah.
From New York to Alaska and everywhere
exactly.
in between. Yeah.
I freaking love it. It's awesome. And I'll say it like that. My role in our team, we're a 6-person team, and I'll say that my role in the team is, I'd like to think of myself and Candace, I think more integrator minded, but I'd like to think of myself as someone kind of middle office to back office, seeing what happens to deals once it comes through, once it's been nurtured, and then making sure it just gets to the finish line. So that's me. I'm Angela. Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys.
I love that. Of
Really
course, thank you
modest.
for being here.
Yes, very modest. She keeps
Really
the train on the tracks.
Angela has put our team in front of some very high level people. So she's being super modest.
Yeah.
Well, I love the word that she used. I think the word that she used will just sum this entire thing up. Magic.
Yeah.
I love that.
Love that.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Angela. Good to see and talk with you again. Thank you for being here. And last but not least, Jacqueline! Did that work? I don't know if the introduction stuff worked. I'm still. All right. Anyway, I was trying to play some music and really prop it up. I don't know if it went through or not.
Yeah, no, got it.
Yeah.
Thanks for the
Okay, good.
very intense intro.
What's going on? How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Beautiful. Thank you.
I'm Jacqueline. I have been in real estate for about 11, 12 years now. My background is actually in commercial real estate. I've been doing that basically since I got started. I started with managing shopping centers, actually. And over the years, I have transitioned into more of a, management oversight role. And so that's been really cool. And a couple of years ago, I was like, gosh, making all these companies millions of dollars. How do I do this for myself? And so that kind of started me on my investment journey. And similarly to Candace and Angela, I connected with Jake probably in like December, January. And we actually were going to JV on a Gator deal together. And we just kind of kept in touch. And I said, he told me what he was doing. And my mind was like, wait, you can do that? Like, how does that work? And just mind blown right away. And so I was super excited to figure out how, I could help him in, really growing that. And so here we are. I do all of the underwriting for our team and kind of give that gut check, so to speak, on the deals that we see and before we're ready to send them to the lenders.
Awesome. So you are very obviously integral into, I hate numbers. So thank goodness there are people out there like you that just love the numbers, because that is just my Achilles heel.
And
Yeah.
also, she's underselling herself as well. She does way more than our underwriting, way more.
Well, thank you guys for being here, man. So let's kind of open up this conversation a little bit. Let's talk about some elephants in the room. I know previously we've all kind of talked a little bit about mindset, and I want to preface what we're going to be talking about with this challenge and how people can really utilize this as a tool that is not being talked about right now. It's not being, certainly not at the level that it should be, I don't think. Would you guys agree? Or
I can agree more.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
so let's talk about like Dave Ramsey, for example, because we're utilizing like wholesaling and creative finance. We're leveraging other people's debt, and just debt just isn't one of those things where it's really top of mind, because it's not something that we really have to worry about. But one of the things, like I love Pace's. You guys ever see Pace's like reels or stories that he makes? And he's got this it looks like a swimming cap or something, and he does these Dave Ramsey imitations.
Yeah.
He like goes to Starbucks and orders
I
like
think
a
I've
coffee
seen
or something like
those,
that, and
yeah.
Dave Ramsey pops up behind the bushes giving him the finger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that.
Hilarious. And Jake, when you and I were having a conversation a few days ago about, I mean, you kind of grew up listening to Dave Ramsey and kind of learning a little bit from him. What are some of the mindset and paradigm shifts that you've made between listening to Dave Ramsey and why a lot of people resonate with him?
It's funny. I was thinking about this just last night, actually, like the complete 180 of where I came from and where I am now, right? So, Dave Ramsey's whole thing is debt is bad, no matter what kind of debt it is, really. And, to his credit, his teachings got me out of debt back in, 2015, 2016 or so. And then I sort of just carried those principles along until I got into real estate and realized how much I was actually holding myself back by having that debt is bad mindset. And it's funny when you think about it now with the loan sponsorship and what my team is doing, it's like complete opposites. I went from debt is bad to I'll sponsor everybody's debt as long as making money. You know what I mean? And so it's just been such a paradigm shift, but in such a great way. I think that once you realize that debt is a tool and there are different kinds of debt, it really could just open up your mind to the possibilities of how far having the right kind of debt can take you.
For sure. I totally agree. And one of the big things that really stuck out to me as to why Dave Ramsey is so successful is I think a lot of the things that he talks about, they resonate with the masses. Like, hey, you shouldn't have debt. And for the 99% who are struggling to make ends meet, to them, that makes sense. Oh, I shouldn't have debt. Debt is bad. I should pay my stuff down. I should get rid of all my credit card debt. I should not get any business credit. I should not, have a mortgage or anything like that. I need to pay all this off as soon as I can. But I feel like that's the exact reason why it appeals to the 99% and why the 99%, you don't have money problems, because it's not what the wealth you're doing. It's not how you get rich. It's not how you make money.
Yeah, it's like the financial version of having the golden handcuffs. It's like people feel comfortable when they don't have the debt, just like people feel comfortable when they have that well-paying job. But that's only going to get you so far. I don't think anyone's ever gotten rich following Dave Ramsey's principles. Or if they have, they're 80 and can't do anything with it anyway. So
I think the only person that's gotten rich is Dave Ramsey.
Yeah, there you go.
Off of his teachings.
Yeah.
Hey, Jesse, I know that you and I had a conversation, much like we talked about when we were kids. You and I had a very similar upbringing, right? And we talked about, money being a 4-letter word or a bad 5-letter word. Do you remember us having that conversation?
Absolutely, I do. Yeah.
And it's so funny because it's exactly what I grew up in. I grew up in Philadelphia, just outside. And, listen, I'm not going to give you the sob story, but we didn't have a lot. I had a loving family, but financially, and we didn't have a lot. And so we didn't talk about money. Money wasn't things that we talked about on a regular basis. We kept it quiet because it's something we didn't have. and we don't have it, you don't talk about it. And when you don't know anything about it, it makes it even harder to understand. Going back to Jake's point, right, with Dave Ramsey and not knowing about money, that can make debt bad for most people, right? And so going back to that clientele or that person you're looking at that doesn't understand it, then maybe debt's not the best thing in the world. But if you surround yourself with people who understand it and have a better understanding about it, and you get educated like anything else, then you can start having a different mindset. And I guess that's my question to Jake is, what was your turning point, right? What was the thing that kind of changed your mind after you got out of debt? And who did you surround yourself with to kind of shift over to this idea of understanding, well, there's actually good debt out there?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Thank you.
I think I had that mindset for a long time. I don't think it was until I got into the investing space where I realized that I was never going to get to where I was trying to go without leveraging, things that I had available to me. And I found out pretty quickly by surrounding myself with other real estate investors and all of the helpful people in Subto and things like that, that debt is one of the most, powerful tools that you can leverage, especially when it comes to like real estate investing. It's not like we're, going and spending $100,000 on a car and taking out an 8% loan for it, and that value is just steadily decreasing. We're putting it into assets that are only going to make us even more money over time. And so once I had that mindset shift and I learned from people who are using it, I've just been on my way ever since.
So you surround yourself with people that were thinking differently than you, and you realize that it was a mindset you need to kind of adapt if you wanted to continue to grow both professionally and, personally.
Yeah, absolutely. If you keep that fear mindset, you're just never going to get to where you're trying to go. It doesn't matter how hard you work at it. You're limiting yourself.
I think that raises an important point too, that both Stuart and Jake have touched on, is the collaboration over competition mindset. In the sense that, a lot of these people think that they have to go at it alone. And I think, Chris, this touches on the story that you kind of led with in the beginning, is you're going to get so much further by opening your mind to working with people who may know more than you, who may have more experience than you, than to try and do all of this on your own. Collaboration over competition will 100 times get you a lot further.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Jacqueline's point, can I just say one thing about what Jacqueline said and Jake as well? The mindset, so important. And then leveraging resources, right? Because you could have the mindset, but if you don't have a network of people like us, right, who understand the different loopholes to get into a deal with no money out of pocket or even using your own credit, it's almost like a double-ended thing, right? Mindset, leveraging resources. Yeah.
I think of all of us as like puzzle pieces, and you have to just go out and find those other puzzle pieces that fit with yours.
If you can get out of your own way, you have the opportunity to build generational wealth. It's not about a W-2. It's not where you came from. If you have this community behind you, it's limitless. You can do anything you want.
Two things on that. One, if you look at our screens, we're like the Brady Bunch right now, right? We're like the nine. We're like,
I was thinking of that show from the 80s. It was like
Hollywood Squares.
with all the faces and
Hollywood Squares, right? In like Brady Bunch form. And then on top of that, we have this idea. And again, this is not easy for me to open up and kind of talk about this stuff, but I'm going to. I've been in real estate for a long time, and I did a lot of my own. And listen, I love my wife and my family. My wife lets me do almost whatever I want to do. And she's like, hey, just don't make us homeless, right? If you don't make us homeless, I'll let you kind of do your thing and kind of figure things out. And we've been doing okay up to this point. But I got to a point of struggling because I was by myself, right? My wife doesn't want to get involved in it, and that's okay. But I was trying to do this on my own. And it truly wasn't until I met Daniela after being in Subto and Gator and networking. And networking is key. Jesse, you mentioned, before, chase the relationship, not the deal. And I'm going to give credit where credit is due. JJ Azizan is, man, I stumbled upon him within Subto and his community, and I had the pleasure of talking to him, and I've taken his mantra, and I live by that. And that's why I'm here today with the 8 of you. It's because I finally understood chasing a relationship is much more important and will get you a lot more in life, both personally and professionally, than chasing any deal that you can, which goes back to what Jacqueline referred to, what Chris talked about in the beginning of the podcast. That individual is very short-minded, and maybe they're just not educated enough. Like, let's just give that person the benefit of the doubt. And so hopefully that person's going to learn from our conversation today and start to reach out with an olive branch versus, with a stick, right? And kind of just try to take something from somebody else, as opposed to, being that collaborator versus, having that mindset of scarcity. And honestly, had I not met Daniela through, our networking and so forth, I wouldn't be here. And the compliment of everybody else in this Zoom, or this podcast rather, is very important for that. And that's what we're here to help get people to understand today: collaboration over competition. And I think PACE has instilled that in us, and we're just trying to help other people to understand that.
Right. Absolutely. I went from a team of 1 to a team of 6 overnight. And instead, that didn't slow me down. That only propelled me and all of us. And so it's an important mindset shift that has to happen.
It's a multiplier, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Something that Stuart and Daniela, well, mainly Stuart, he came up with is, what is it? Stronger together. It's kind of our motto that we use. And same thing. I mean, if Stuart wouldn't have reached out to Jesse a couple of weeks ago, we wouldn't even be here. So it's all about, the collaboration and networking. So.
Well, I really appreciate all of you being here, because I'm really excited to get more into the weeds on what this challenge is. And what I love about this challenge is it really hammers down on a lot of what all of you guys are saying in terms of opening that up and chasing the relationship. And what's cool about this is it's going to force that change. If people are intentional with this challenge, it's going to put them in a position where if they want to succeed in it, then the mentality has to change. And you're going to start building these foundational mindset shifts through this challenge that will ultimately help propel you guys into bigger things in your own businesses as well. So should we get a little bit more into the weeds with this challenge, you guys?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. So what I love about this, and Chris and I talk about this a little bit, here and there. I mean, I think it was last week we did a lot of mindset stuff, and I love mindset. I've seen a lot of comments in here on the side, just praising how important mindset is and being able to shift your perspective and to think a little bit differently. And this is something that nobody is really talking about. And when you look at what probably a lot of, well, I know a lot of us on screen, and then maybe a lot of you guys that are watching this, and some of you who will be watching this in the future, most of us are probably wholesaling or buying creatively. Now, what's great about creative finance is it's all of a sudden brought a new conversation to the table. It's put a new tool in everybody's tool belt. So for those of you guys who aren't in Subto and you don't know about creative finance, one of the big things is, hey, go find a deal. And if it doesn't make sense for cash, go, JV with a Subto student where you can learn. They have the documents, they have the resources to get this thing to the finish line. And like I said, bring something to the conversation that isn't being had. And it's neat to see how popular creative finance talk is becoming. I mean, I can't tell you how many times either Chris or I or somebody on our team, or even somebody, we've had a couple people even throw it in the comments here on our podcast before, where they've reached out to an agent, and right from the get-go, the agent's already like, if this has anything to do with Pace Morby, I don't want to hear it.
That's so true.
So it's neat that this is becoming more and more prevalent. Yeah. But after talking with Stuart and Jake and their teams, it was neat to see where we could kind of come together and bring value to a group of people and really leverage a network where we could all come together, we can make money and bring something to the table that isn't really being talked about right now. So I just want to reiterate this. When it comes to wholesaling, The issue that most people have with wholesaling is you got to find a motivated seller. You got to find somebody who's distressed, whether that's divorce, whether that's probate, whether the property in itself is distressed, whether they're going through pre-foreclosure, whatever that looks like. And sometimes that's a challenge. I know pre-foreclosures are hot right now. And you get a lot of people, especially if you reach out to them in the early stages of pre-foreclosure, the mindset of that seller is still, hey, you know what? I'm good. I don't have to get rid of this right now. And so that's why follow-up is so key. It's so pertinent. And for all of you guys who have this pipeline, if you don't have a system in place where you can, consistently making sure that you or your team is following up on these leads, guess what? Somebody else who has a really strong follow-up game, that's who's getting the deal. That's who's making money. It has nothing to do with the fact that there are no deals out here. It's simply just that your follow-up game is not where it should be. Now, let's say you do talk to somebody and they are motivated, but let's say they don't have any equity in their deal, just as an example. Where do we pivot? Boom, creative finance, right? Subject to hybrid. And now we're bringing something to the table. Well, now let's say seller finance, for example. Let's say somebody wants their price. Maybe they're a little motivated, but they don't necessarily want to wait 10 years or 20 years or 30 years to even, get their money. So after having a conversation with these fine people, it was like, oh my gosh, guys, we could all come together and bring something to everybody else. That is another tool on the tool belt where somebody doesn't have to wait to get 50% or they don't have to, come down. They don't have to settle for 50% of an offer, or they don't have to wait 30 years to get their money either. Would you guys say that about anything else that you guys would love to add on to this real quick?
No, I think you're spot on.
Yeah, you're hitting the nail on the head.
Awesome. So with this challenge, we want to. Did we decide on the name, guys?
I like the watermelon.
I like it. Do it, Jesse.
Okay, we're gonna call it the watermelon challenge. Now, again, this goes
why,
back to
Jesse? Why the watermelon challenge? Please enlighten all of us. Why the watermelon challenge?
For those who don't know the analogy.
Yeah. I just found out this morning, and I'm like, "That's fantastic! Wow."
That's what I've always known for sure.
Jake knew before Jesse even thought about
Jake
this.
Knew a lot. I think this was Jake's idea. No, I love it. Great question. So again, just to hammer on the big overarching theme here that we've all been discussing is it's better to share a watermelon than to eat your own grape. Just like the story that Chris outlined this morning. Somebody wants to get a deal done and they want to start cutting around people. That's not what we're about. That's not what this is about. And this is another tool on your tool belt when 50% of ARV doesn't work, when somebody doesn't want to wait 30 years to get their money. There are so many other options for you guys to utilize. I can't think of a scenario, honestly, in which somebody couldn't get a deal between wholesaling, creative finance, and this challenge. I mean, from just shooting off the hip, I mean, all bases are covered. So if you guys are trying to get your first deal, your 10,000th and first deal, whether you guys are looking to scale, or just build other relationships, that's the entire purpose of this challenge. So this challenge is called the Watermelon Challenge for that exact reason.
I love it.
It's sweet and refreshing.
That's right.
So we're gonna kick this thing off. I think did we decide on June 12th, guys?
Yeah, I think that works.
Okay. We're going to kick this thing off on June 12th, and you guys are going to get way more information. We're going to dive into this a little bit more, so you guys have a little bit of a teaser on what to expect. But the actual challenge itself, that's when we're going to dive deep into it. That's going to be day one, is June 12th. So make sure you guys put that in your phones, put that on your calendar. This is going to be really neat. But we've all, as you guys have heard through everybody's introductions, we all bring something different to the table. And in a watermelon scenario, this is going to be something that's neat for everybody in here it doesn't matter what their goals are in real estate. If you guys are trying to scale from 1 to 10 deals a month, I don't think that, there shouldn't be a reason why you guys couldn't be able to do that rather fast.
Yeah.
Honestly, utilizing this. So, Jake, for everybody who missed it, well, not necessarily missed it, I don't think anybody missed it, but I would like you to hammer down a little bit more on what is your guys' role? What is your team's role in this challenge?
Sure.
And how kind of create this foundation for me real quick for everybody.
So like Jesse, touched on, the whole point of the challenge is to show people that you can scale your business and obtain more deals by leveraging your community, right? And so what that looks like for my team is, if you need to get a loan for your deal, but you have terrible credit, well, then leverage what my team could bring to the table. So what we do is we partner with investors. Let's say someone, wants to fix and flip a property and they need to get a hard money loan, or they're trying to just purchase a property on a DSCR loan, but they don't have the credit to qualify. What my team and I do is partner with those people and basically bring the credit and obtain the loan for them as partners. And that's just a different way to JV, other than, we always see people, they buy a deal, let's say they buy a deal creatively, and then they bring in a private money lender for the down payment or something like that. Leverage us to bring the loan. It's the same, it's our way of bringing the money, right? We're just bringing it in the form of a loan.
Hold on real quick. I just want to make sure I heard this correctly and make sure I'm understanding what you're saying here. So you're telling me that if somebody talks to a seller and they don't want 50% ARV, they don't want to wait 30 years for their money, or maybe they're just simply not motivated. You're telling me that there's still an opportunity to make a deal there, and that somebody else can utilize your credit?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Somebody else can go buy somebody else's property. So you're telling me, hold on, I just want to be super, super clear on this. So you're telling me, bro.
But wait,
people can literally get on Zillow, have realtors send them T12s and rent rolls, and as soon as they find something where it makes sense, they can bring it to this challenge, and they can either be a partner in it or get a wholesale fee from it. And they didn't have to talk to a motivated seller. They didn't have to do any SMS marketing. They didn't have to do any cold calling. Am I understanding you right? Is that what you're telling me, Jake?
That's exactly right. You could literally go find an on-market property and use somebody else to get a loan, use somebody else to bring the down payment, use somebody else to bring the EMD, whatever it is. Everything you could possibly need to purchase a property is on the screen right now in front of you.
So hold on. I just need to hammer this down just again to make sure that I'm clear on understanding this. Somebody can purchase properties without using any of their own cash, without any of their own credit. They don't have to get their credit pulled. They don't have to provide any sort of credentials showing that they have a job or anything like that. They don't have to convince somebody to sell a property and have the debt remain in their name, and they've got to deed it to them. You're telling me that doesn't have to happen. They don't have to persuade somebody to do a subject to, right? Am I understanding that right? And you don't have to have somebody take a 50% hit.
You don't have to do any of that.
So we're all just working collaboratively to do this.
Yeah, we're just sharing a watermelon.
Hey, Jake, do you know of anybody that does EMD?
I think there's 9 people on the screen right now who could provide EMD.
Got it. Good to know. Good to know.
So they don't even have to fund this stuff. They don't even have to have, oh my gosh.
They don't need to have a penny to their name. They can have a 500 credit score. They just need to be able to leverage the community around them.
So this group right here is everybody's community. Is that what I'm hearing?
Absolutely.
Interesting. Dude, the comments are just going off the charts, man. This is awesome.
I really like what Mike said.
What questions do you guys have? Because we're going to go a lot deeper into this on June 12th on what the specificity of this challenge is going to entail, how you can be involved in it, where you can partner with everybody. and what this is going to look like, and some of the systems and everything you guys are going to need. Again, we're going to dive deeper into all that kind of stuff on June 12th. But sorry, Chris, I didn't mean to cut you off, brother.
No, you're good. I think Mike's question right here is perfect. It's 100% exactly why we're in real estate and why we need a Jacqueline, or why we need just underwriters just in the space of real estate. Because if you don't have your numbers or your margins correct, then the deal could just fall flat, and you're going to be in a situation where, especially where the market's going, we just don't know. Because literally 8 months ago, it was very hot. Now it's stabilizing. So essentially, I think underwriting is essentially key.
Yeah.
And maybe Jacqueline, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I was just saying, I'm thinking about all the wholesalers out there who, their plan is to wholesale a bunch of deals and build up a bunch of cash so they could start holding properties in their own portfolio. And what if you could skip all of that and just do that now by leveraging our credit and somebody else's money, and start putting properties into your portfolio now? And the great thing about that is, if you're not bringing any money to the table, your returns are infinite, right? So I think that, this is a great opportunity for anyone out there who is wanting to build a portfolio, who's strictly been wholesaling to build money and just wasting time when you could be building your portfolio and your real estate empire, starting right now.
Thank you for sharing that. 100%. I want to hammer down on something else real quick. Right. Yeah, exactly, Mark. This opens the door not only for so many people, literally everybody. Mm-hmm. You could literally go down Zillow. You could have a realtor send you all these properties as long as the numbers make sense, guys. We don't need a motivated seller. That's what's awesome about this. You don't have to worry about what CRM you're going to use. You don't have to do all this due diligence on what dialer you're going to use to start cold calling, or what list you're going to pull for motivated sellers. You could literally get on the MLS. You could call 10 agents right now and say, hey, this is what I'm looking for. Send me everything that meets this category. What's neat about this, Stuart, we've talked about avatars a little bit, and I know Chris and I are really big on avatars, and I know you guys are all as well. Everybody has their own avatar. Even in a team, everybody specializes in one thing. They get really, really good at one thing. They work on becoming the Michael Jordan of that one freaking thing. Mm-hmm. So for everybody who knows how to underwrite or look at numbers, or hell, they don't even have to know that. They just need to know the who that knows how to do it.
Exactly. Yep.
So somebody could just focus on one thing, or focus on finding somebody just to understand those numbers a little bit to work with, and say, hey, I'm going to call a bunch of realtors. I'm going to get all this information, and I need you to help me underwrite this. And when we find something, let's submit it and partner on this challenge. And we now are part owners in this property. And we didn't have to talk to a seller. We didn't have to do any of these other kinds of things. Zero money out of pocket. Is that what I'm understanding? People can only focus on one thing and still
exactly right. Yeah,
make
Jess,
money
exactly
on
right.
properties?
Yep. So this is the whole idea, right? Everyone in this group here, we have our own lane. And so, and there's a lot of people that do a little bit of both. And so I know Jacqueline is a great underwriter, and within Jake's team, she has a lot of other roles that she's very good at. Helaman is our underwriter, but also has a lot of other great roles. Daniela is a great integrator, much like I believe it was Angela and Candace, right, with the integration aspect of it. So I'm taking notes so I can remember all these things, because we need everybody. I'm a connector, and it was very hard for me to kind of find where my lane was. And again, thanks to Pace and his idea of this avatars. If you don't know what avatar you are, we certainly can help you figure that out and get those avatars out to you and try to, help find it. You can YouTube it, I'm sure, Instagram, all those other social media aspects of it. But you can be a good whatever you are. I'm a good connector. I like to connect people. I'm not great underwriting. I want to learn how to do it better. And so I'm going to utilize Jacqueline and Helaman to understand that aspect of it. I don't love underwriting, right? I want to understand it. That's not my lane. I know a little bit about integration. So I've taken the test, Rocket Fuel, and I'm an integrator / visionary. First, I thought I was, just because I was being lazy and didn't really pick one or the other. But as we're going through this, I'm actually finding out that I actually am really a little bit of both. aspects of those things. And if you can identify who you are, which by the way is a very hard thing to do, right? I'm 46 years old, and I have a 13-year-old, and we have conversations like this all the time. It's not easy trying to figure out who you are, but it does take a little self-reflection, and mindset is key. And that doesn't stop, right? It's a continuous loop. You're constantly trying to figure out who you are and get out of that monkey brain, if you will. Stop thinking about I can't instead of how can I? And if you really start putting that into your own kind of lane, it's going to free you up and almost, give you this sense of freedom, because you're like, man, I don't have to do it all. I can't do it all. I tried to, right? And I was successful, but very limited. And now all of a sudden I have these great opportunities because I've, one, realized I can't do it all, two, realized where I'm really good at, and three, started to collaborate and connect with people that I know help to strengthen my weaknesses. And if you can do that, then you're going to be unstoppable. And that's the whole idea of this challenge, right? Is we all kind of came together with this. Look, we could all do this by ourselves, right? In some capacity. It wouldn't be near as fun. It wouldn't be near as profitable. And we wouldn't be able to connect and help as many people. And so by collaborating together and working together, we're going to get so much more out of that watermelon than if we just had that one grape to ourselves.
I love that you said that, dude. One of the big things, just to go along with what you were saying, here's how, in my mind, here's how I picture this whole watermelon, grape, and collaborative fashion. This is how I think about it in my head. Like, if we're on a mainland, and not just us, like anybody watching this, think about this for a second. You're on a mainland. You got this big ocean between you, and then you got this island off in the far distance. And this island is a representation of your goals, your milestones, the things you're wanting to accomplish. Now, to get from here to here, obviously you can swim or you can get in a boat. But wanting to do everything yourself is the equivalent of getting in a rowboat and going here. Now, you can do it, yes. Is there a wrong way to do real estate? There isn't. As long as you're taking action, that's literally you being in a rowboat, and you know what? You're going to be a little bit further than you were the day before or than you were the month before, because you're doing it, you're learning it. Now, that's not necessarily the fastest way to get there. But even when you're losing, or even when you feel like you don't have the traction that you need, the momentum that you need, if you feel like you're losing sleep, you're frustrated, that's what winning looks like. And guess what? Being in those types of situations, that's you actually moving forward. When it doesn't feel like you're moving forward, you're in those situations because you're taking action, because you're moving forward. The problem is that there are too many people trying to do this from a rowboat perspective. And when you can figure out how to lead with value and to come together and work with other people, now you're in a speedboat. And you'll get there very, very, very quick. You can literally go from 0 to 10 deals very quickly, leveraging and building relationships with other people who bring value and are good at things that either you're not, or that just aren't a good use of your time.
That's exactly it, Jesse. And I'll add to that. What about that speedboat? Don't you need somebody who knows about machinery and engines, right, to keep that engine going? How about a navigator? If I had a navigator in my speedboat, could I get there a little bit more efficiently and effectively, use a little more gas? So you could still be a pilot, right, on a speedboat, but you need to know how to maintain that engine. You need to make sure you have enough fuel to get there, and you need to know where the hell you're going. And if you don't have those things in place, you're going to just spending a lot of fuel and energy on that speedboat, driving around that ocean, trying to find that island.
Being an entrepreneur has a lot of benefits. It's just meant for some people to be. But when you get into that space and you're trying to do it all yourself, it's exhausting and you do limit yourself. I remember working with a lot of entrepreneurs back in the day, and I used to joke that I was just going to get them all together for a therapy group for entrepreneurs, because when you walk in,
this is therapy.
And then the next day you'd walk in and they're in tears. And so it makes sense to have the community behind you, to have this ability to say, I can't do it all, is a big thing to wrap your brain around if you are in that entrepreneurial mindset. You've got to kind of take a step back and say, what am I good at? What am I not? It's a gut check. And it's the having those avatars is helpful, but being able to, like I said before, get out of your own way is key to making this happen. If we brought this team together, there are 6 of us, like we said, and one of us was, I'm going to be this and nothing else, and I'm going to do this and nothing else. It wouldn't have the same effect. Like, we all have that entrepreneurial spirit, so we're all like jumping in and saying, we want to help. What do you need? Candace, what are you stuck on? Angela, what do you need? Did anybody get back to you? It's just exactly, Claudia, overwhelming to do it by yourself, and you don't have to. So having this mindset is the way to grow. And, I love the watermelon analogy because it's so true. And I'm so excited to get this going, guys. It's not even funny.
Me too. It's exhausting. It's also lonely. It's just more fun when you work with other people.
Oh my gosh. And then you get to share things, just like when we get on wherever we're chatting, because we still have this thing about going, I'm going to say it, still have this thing about hanging out in text. I want everything in Slack so I can, move things around and make sure everyone can see it. And when we get in there, it's just a celebration. Somebody's having a birthday. Somebody's little girls having their day, and we're all connected. And it's just this expansion of family. I just feel like I am in business with my family, and that you can't replicate that. It's such a good feeling.
Totally agree. Yeah.
Candace, so true.
Chosen family.
So true.
Chosen family.
Yeah, that's a key.
Yeah, you don't always like your family, but we get to choose our family. In this,
we can choose our family. Absolutely. Love my family. Love this too. And it's been brilliant. And this challenge is just going to help other people get immersed in that as well, have that ability to experience it. If you haven't, this is the perfect opportunity to go for it.
100%.
My good friend Sam I am in the chats just asked if the creative credit partners could help with the construction loan. And so I just real quickly want to touch on that, just so everybody knows, because I don't want them to think that they're limited to the type of projects that they could work on, right? So we've done everything from single family fix and flips to single family long-term holds to we're doing some ground up construction to, like I said, this big multifamily conversion. So there's no limit to, if multifamily is your lane, then you could still work with us. If single family is where you're comfortable, you could still work with us. And the resources and the power in the community is still the same.
I'm glad he brought that up, or I'm sorry, she brought that up. One of the things that we're going to be doing throughout, this isn't going to be just a one and done challenge, by the way. This is something that's going to go on for several months, probably the better half of the rest of the year, if not taking us into December. But we're going to be focusing, there's going to be different areas that we're going to focus on. And again, we're going to get a little bit deeper into that come June 12th. But, those things are going to involve things like fix and flips specifically. Those are going to involve specific multifamilies. Those are going to involve, multifamily and bigger apartment complexes and things like that. So each month we're going to focus on a little something different, I guess you could say, and different ways that you can leverage debt and credit, and you can come to the table and do deals without having to find or tolerate or talk to motivated sellers or worry about niche lists or anything like that. So this is something that nobody else is really talking about. This is something that's really neat, and I'm really excited to kind of kick this off with you guys.
Yeah, so excited about it.
Hey guys and girls, real quick. I see Eric put a comment in there. He said, "How would you guys suggest trying to learn an avatar from someone else?" And then he put the second question, or second statement was, "I'm limiting myself because I feel like I don't have anything to offer yet." And Eric, I'm going to talk about the second part of that first, because that really resonates with me quite deeply. In getting into subto a little while ago and having the shiny object syndrome that many people get, I'm sure we all kind of went through for a little while at least. You're like, hey, I'm looking all over the place, all this great information. And I don't really know, what can I offer, right? What can I really offer to anybody else so I can JV with them. And we talk about this a lot. And for me, that was a hard thing to kind of come to terms with. So when we talked about making relationships and chasing the relationship, that's what you have to do. The more you connect with other people, the more you're going to be able to figure out what your strengths are. And there's great information out there. Again, Pace talks about rocket fuel and taking, reading that book and doing those tests and figuring out, hey, are you a visionary versus an integrator? And then the avatars is what the other question you had as well. Again, if you go on YouTube and look up Pace Morby avatar series, he has, I don't know, tens of hours of information on that stuff. And so, we don't want to reinvent the wheel because it's already out there. He does a great job doing it. And, you're not going to try to reinvent something that's already done really well. But I just want to talk about that a little bit. I know we're kind of getting long in the tooth here, but is there anybody else that kind of felt, when did you find your lane, I guess is my question. If I may ask it, or are you still finding your lane, quite honestly, with it? If we can kind of go around quickly with that, or Candace had her finger up.
I'm going to jump on that one. So on our first call, our first Zoom, that was something that was really on my mind because two other people who aren't here, Sonia and Morgan, amazing in the real estate investing realm. They've got lots of experience. Jake is Jake. He's doing his thing and just bringing all the fire on that end. And then Jacqueline, she's got all this experience in underwriting, and Angela is just she's our connector, and she's got all this this ability to just learn and absorb. And she was so new when I first talked to her, but she had all the answers. And so I'm, like I said, I'm like, well, I'm a baby gator. Like I can do that, I haven't really done much of anything. And then that's okay, because we all come from different backgrounds. We all have something to share. We're here on this planet, just absorbing everything and learning as we go. And I found my lane. It's like, but I can connect that, or I can do that. And what about? And it just sort of worked out, and it's been brilliant. But don't underestimate yourself because you haven't had the experience. If you're going to get the experience, this is what it's all about. Absolutely. You're going to learn. You're going to JV with people who are going to share, because that's what this community is for. So just believe in yourself. Get out there, and you do have something to offer. So and you want to learn. That's huge. That's like the key to everything. You want to learn. You learn every day, and what you didn't know yesterday, you might know tomorrow. So just go for it.
And the biggest thing with that, Candace, is you didn't let those fears. You could have easily found a reason not to join the team, right? Or came up with an excuse to not take that next step, and we'd still probably be in the same position right now. But look at how far we've come in a few months, right?
It's been amazing. Yeah, and I appreciate it. So I stepped on you. Sorry, Jake. Say it. No. Go ahead.
You took that leap of faith, and you didn't let the fear hold you back, and you took the action.
Yeah.
And that's what I want everyone to understand, is that it's okay to be afraid. It's not okay to let the fear prevent you from taking the next step.
Yep.
Absolutely. Be your own hero. Do it.
Amen.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's awesome. And if I could say real quick, with Danielle and Hilleman here, I still have those second guesses, right? I'm going to say it out loud, and I'm going to say it in front of a lot of people right now. I still second guess myself. I'm like, man, why am I with you guys? Like, why do you let me hang out with the two of you? And they're like, listen, you're not getting rid of us. So, and sometimes you just need that other person to say, hey, you know what? Not that you need somebody to constantly validate you, because after a while you need to do it yourself, right? That needs to happen organically. But having that partner to pick you up is huge. And then to your point, Candace and Jake, take action, right? Yeah. Don't just be, it's not a pity party, right? It's not a pity party. You go in and I just need to hear people tell me how good I am all the time. No. You know what? Get off your ass and start doing something about it. Take that as fuel and move forward. Don't curl up into a ball and kind of, just be where you were, or else you're not going to grow.
True. And when you say you're going to take action, take action. Don't say you're going to do it. Be about that word that you've given and come through, because the entire team's looking for you to do your part to get us all further.
Yep.
So, you know, just
don't be a content. Yeah, don't be a content consumer. Like Pace always says, like making mistakes is mandatory, right? It's just part of it.
That's how we learn.
Yeah.
And we've made them. And we're gonna make them, and that's okay. Yeah.
But you can minimize them with the people around you. You're going to minimize, you know, how bad those mistakes are going to be, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that goes back to this challenge. Take action, right? Stop saying to yourself, I can't, and start saying to yourself, how can I?
Exactly.
Right? And utilize the people around you. You got to have a little faith, right? You got to have a little faith. You got to use your intuition and get to know people first. That's why we started this saying, chasing the relationship. Don't just get into bed with somebody. Don't just jump into a relationship with somebody right away just because they say all the right things. Vet them and talk about them and make sure that things work, because they could be a great person. You just don't mesh, and that's okay. I've met a lot of people that I like personally. We just don't align professionally, and that's okay, right? It's okay. But maybe down the road we might.
Sure. Absolutely right. There's something for everybody. That's why there's chocolate and vanilla ice cream, right? Something for everybody.
Well, to hammer down on that, I want to share something with you guys real quick. Just in talking about taking action and going out in there and failing. One of the things that we talked about yesterday, myself and a group of people, was about failing. And there's this book by John Maxwell, and it's called Failing Forward. And in there is a phenomenal little blip, and it really encapsulates the power of failure and just getting out there and taking action. And if you guys got 30 seconds, I just want to share that with you real quick. It says the ceramics teacher announced on opening day that he was dividing the class into 2 groups. All those on the left side of the studio, he said, would be graded solely on the quantity of work they produced. Okay, quantity. All those on the right would be graded solely on the quality. Now, his procedure was simple. On the final day of class, he would bring in his bathroom scales and he would weigh the work of the quantity group. 50 pounds of pots, graded an A, 40 pounds of B, and so on. Those being graded on quality, however, needed to produce only 1 pot, albeit a perfect one, to get an A. Well, came grading time, and a curious fact emerged. The works of the highest quality were all produced by the group being graded for quantity. It seems that while the quantity group was busily churning out piles of work and learning from their mistakes, the quality group had sat around theorizing about perfection, and in the end had little more to show for their efforts than grandiose theories and a pile of dead clay. It doesn't matter whether your objectives are in the area of art, business, ministry, sports, or relationships. The only way that you can get ahead is to fail early, fail often, and fail forward.
I love that.
Love that.
Awesome.
That's good. Yeah.
Jesse, not just a hype man, also super profound.
That's poetic,
I
Jesse.
read on a bumper sticker.
Hey, gang, before we end up here, I see a question from Darek. I think it's maybe a great way to end it, unless we can go a little bit longer here. Is this a collab between Jesse's team and the Credit Partners Group? Can we elaborate on that, or do you want me to elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, just like everybody else coming together and sharing a watermelon. That's exactly what happened. We've all kind of were intentional with, hey, I want to learn what you have going on, and I want to learn what you have going on, and where can we come into alignment? Where can we make money together? And that's kind of where this whole thing formed. It was like, wow, well, this is your group's avatar. Now, obviously, as everybody has heard, everybody in these groups has an avatar within that. But overarching, this group's avatar is this, and this group's avatar is this, and this is what Chris and I do. And it was like, oh my gosh, hey, you know what? Here is an opportunity to share a watermelon, not only with us, but with everybody else who's trying to align their real estate goals in a similar fashion. And let's bring a conversation to the table that's not being had. I mean, this is just another tool on your tool belt that covers everything else that doesn't fall in line with wholesaling and or creative finance. So that's kind of the overarching thing. But if there's anything else, that you'd like to add, Stuart, or anybody else, man, yeah, feel free.
Yeah. So the other end part of it is Daniela Hilleman and myself. I don't want to say my team. I talk a lot. So by default, I think people think that, I'm the talking head of the three of us, but it is a collaborative group, all the three of us here. So we're all gators to at one point on this call. But we specialize in EMD and double closings, and we'll help you with that as well. And so this is a collaboration of the three groups together to make this thing happen. Like I said before, we could do this individually, but why? It wouldn't be as fun, and we certainly wouldn't get as much out of it as we're going to get collaborating together. And so, this is what we're going to bring. We're going to bring three different groups together, overlapping, just like Candace was talking about, right? We all have our lanes, but we're all going to try to help in different areas to make sure that we can have everything covered as much as we can.
I think the beautiful thing about this, just to be fully transparent, the first time, that my team ever talked with Chris and Jesse, I think that it was going to be a collaboration between my team and Jesse's team. And then we realized, wait, this could be so much more, right? So I think the original plan was, hey, we're going to get on a podcast and we're going to, talk about how we're partnering up to sponsor these deals. And, I'll bring the credit and you guys would provide the hard money and the DSCR loans. And that's what it was going to be. But it just evolved into this because we realized, wait, there's the ability here to actually help a ton of people also. And so it evolved into this. And I think that's really the beauty behind this whole thing.
Great point, Jake.
That's a perfect example where the sky is the limit. Yeah. Why stop? Why stop what you're doing?
Yeah.
And I'm super stoked about this. Coming from a background of hospitality, restaurant industry, and the corporate world, going into real estate, it's definitely a game changer. And so I'm just super stoked about this.
So real quick, just to kind of one more time elaborate on what we just talked about. This was a collaboration between Jake's group and Jesse and Chris, right? Initially. And I end up, like Hilleman said, I end up reaching out to Jesse just on a whim, just as I'm going through my Rolodex of people to talk to. I started reaching out to Jesse, and Jesse's like, hey, I'll get on a call with you. And Jesse and Chris talked and like, hey, we'll do a Zoom real quick. And all of a sudden, it was this idea of, wow, okay, we can make this even bigger. Am I correct on this?
Oh, yeah, so nail on the head.
Yeah, so the take-home message, gang, is take action.
Yep.
And I'm going to give you 100%. The three of my group, right? Hilleman, Danielle, myself, we wouldn't be on this podcast today talking to these other great individuals, talking to you at home, if I did not take action and make the phone call. We all clear on that?
Yep.
Right? And so anybody can take action. It only takes one phone call.
Perfect example.
By the way, Stu, I love that you have a Rolodex.
I also have
his age a little bit on that.
I have the droid too.
I think the rest of us were so encapsulated in his story, and we completely missed the Rolodex.
Listen, Danielle and him, I'm going to tell you, I throw nuggets out all the time.
It's reaching out, making the phone call, guys, but it's also just interacting in the side chat with other people that are in the same position as you. And I say that all the time because, that's how Stuart and I met. We were on a training, I think, for Privy. Shout out Benson. We were in a training, and I was like, hey, let's connect offline. I took his number, I texted him, and he texted me right back. It goes like that, but you have to put yourself out there. I don't know everything. You don't know everything. Let's fail forward together in a sense. But yeah, I love the energy and synergy here. Super excited to be a part of this. And I guess just for people moving forward, what should they expect before the 12th? Because I think I saw a comment come up. How do we find a group?
That's a great question. So, go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, I was just, Richard Thacker said, how do we find a group? So yeah.
I thought Chris or Jake, or I thought somebody was saying something. That's what's great about this is, guys, this is the group. If you want to be part of the group, we want you to be part of the group. There's literally no reason for you to not be part of the group and to not be doing deals. We came together for you.
Yeah.
Whether that's credit, money, underwriting, whatever that looks like, we're here for you. We want you on our speedboat.
Now, that's not to say that you can't also squat up with other people in the group.
Mm-hmm.
But like
100%.
that's what we're here. We're here to be the resources for everybody.
So I think maybe they're asking, how do they get together? How do they connect after the podcast?
How do they get together? Say that again.
I'll try. How do they connect after this live goes, into the history books? How do they connect with all of us moving forward?
So put your calendars for June 12th. If you guys follow Chris and I on our podcast, you know what I would do? Let me take this off real quick. Let me take this off. Everybody who wants to know and wants to follow this so they can be a part of it, take a screenshot and make sure you're following everybody in here. Perfect. Because we're all going to be sharing more information between now and June 12th. If you guys are part of Chris and mine's Facebook group, we're going to be updating everybody very frequently, weekly, as things continue to evolve and once we kind of once we have things in place for you guys to go ahead and start taking action on, we'll start putting those things out there. So just make sure you guys are following everybody on here, because everybody on here is going to be sharing that information. So if this is something you guys would love to be a part of, if you guys want to start buying properties without using any of your own cash, credentials, or credit, and you're tired of talking with people who are not really motivated, or you don't have the money or the means or the know-how to create these systems and automations and things like that to scale a business, this is a great opportunity. You don't need a motivated seller. Let's go. Get on Zillow right now. Make a couple calls to an agent. And for I think it was Richard, you were asking what group to join. This could be your group. Or what you could do, if you're not good at underwriting, the first thing I would do is, guess what? I would go find somebody who's good at underwriting, and I would say, hey, you know what? I'm going to start calling some agents. I'm going to start getting some things, and let's work together so we can underwrite this and find something that cash flows and the number makes sense, and let's bring this to the team, and let's continue buying some properties. Let's scale this thing. So that's why we're here. Jake and his team, Stuart, Chris, and I, we're all here for you guys.
Yeah, I think so. People are thinking of it as like how in the Elephant Challenge, people are breaking off into smaller groups. I think that's sort of the idea. And so maybe that's something that could happen, Chris and Jesse, inside of your Facebook group, where maybe that's where the smaller groups would convene, right? And something, we talked about how we were going to have Zooms really going more in depth about how the challenge is going to work, doing some educational stuff, right? And so that's why the challenge isn't starting until the 12th, because we'll be putting out a lot more stuff before then. By the time the 12th rolls around, everyone will understand how it's going to work and what's going to be happening.
Yeah, exactly.
I think prior to the 12th, just my opinion, there should be, if possible, people squatting up and also figuring out what your avatar is. Right? There's the avatar that Pace puts out. There's the anagram test, which is a personality test. Everything is free online. And then there's Rocket Fuel. If you could find out who you are before this begins, it's just going to make your message is going to be a lot clearer when squatting up. And it's just going to be, give you clarity moving forward into this challenge, I think.
And one more thing too, because our time is, limited like everybody else. We had talked about limiting the number of people in this challenge for the first round as well, right? So there's going to be different criteria you're going to have to meet to be part of the challenge so that we can make sure we're giving our efforts and energy to those that are actually taking action and getting everything they need to us and not us doing more work for them. Just want to make sure that I'm clear with that and make sure everybody else at home is clear with that as well, right? So we want as many people as we can get into this, but we also want people that are taking action and doing the steps, because if we're doing too many of the steps for you, then we're not doing enough for other people.
Right. To your point, Stu, also just having the basics down of underwriting a deal. right? We don't want to overload, Jacqueline over here, like this is not what we're doing here. We're doing, we're potentially having people come in already vetting and underwriting a deal in the most basic form, right? Is this something that has meat on the bones? And is the ARV, or do the numbers pencil ultimately? Just to have that basic knowledge, I think, is super important.
Jake, do you want to speak to this, bro?
Yeah, I was just in the middle of typing something, but I'll just talk about it. It sounds like he's just unclear about like the structure of how it's going to work, and I understand that this is the first podcast, right? This is the first. We're just telling people that there's going to be a challenge. There's more information that's going to be coming out now in the coming days and weeks about exactly how it's going to work. So there'll be some more structure to it. It's not just for new people. It's for everybody to leverage the community around them and find other ways to get deals done other than, low ball offers like for wholesaling or creative. When those two things don't work, there's still other ways to purchase properties. And that's what we're trying to get everyone to learn and realize.
Let me give you an example real quick. So Chris and I have been doing this for quite a few years now. Just to give you an example, Eric, we have a 32 unit in Anchorage that we're looking at purchasing. They're wanting like 6.9 million for it, and it's got a 4 million and some change assumable loan on it. Utilizing the 9 people on this screen right here, we're all going to come together as long as the numbers make sense on this deal, and this is how we're going to take this down. That is not a newbie move at all.
Far from it.
Utilizing credit, utilizing money, utilizing other people's experts when it comes to underwriting and familiarity with bigger projects. That's what this team is here for. It's another resource for when wholesaling doesn't work, when creative is not an option. It's like, oh, wait, hey, I have these guys that I can use. I can give a seller full price, and I don't care if he's motivated or not, because I'm leveraging somebody else's credit. I'm leveraging somebody else's money, and I'm going to come together and be a piece of this watermelon. So that's the overarching idea of this. But like Jake stated, there's going to be more. All this is simply an introduction to say, hey, guys, put this on your calendar for June 12th. If you're sick of talking to unmotivated sellers, there's another way. Let's come together and let's make some freaking money together while you get to focus on just one thing. Just one thing. And that's why your avatar is so important. And we're going to get a little bit deeper into the weeds on what that looks like moving forward over the next several weeks and months. So with that being said, guys, we're going to wrap this up. Any parting thoughts or words for our audience from any of you guys?
So yes, thank you guys for joining again. We really appreciate everyone being here. Again, stay tuned to June 12th. More announcements going to be coming your way, I should say, in the Facebook group with House of Cards with Chris James and Jesse Stanton. Also on all of our personal pages and social media. Please make sure you follow every one of us. I think everyone's social media is on here. I'm not for sure if you can, or you can reach out to. I see Danielle social media. I don't see Candace, your social media on there. You want to give them your social media so they can reach out to you as well?
I am. It's all under Creative Credit, so I'm
okay.
running those pages.
Phenomenal. So again, guys, thanks again for joining. Thanks for every last one of you guys that's on here. Jesse and I truly appreciate this more than you guys know. We're looking forward to this challenge. It's going to be amazing, and more so until next time, guys. Truly appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the House of Cards podcast with Chris James and Jesse Stanton. We hope you've enjoyed this episode and have learned something new about real estate investing. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram for more tips and tricks. And don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. Until next time.